On tonight's OG and Crab show, we are back, but the Pirates still stink. Nothing is happening, and we're not even sure what to say about it. Play me a song, Crab. Welcome back to the OG and Crab show. I'm OG, and here's my man Crab. How's it going, Crab?
Good. How are you? It's been a while.
It's been a long while. I'm okay. Been busy. Um, Nothing much to say about it, but I mean, hey, we're back. The people wanted more
We're
shows, so we're back.
unfortunately they're going to get them whether they want them or not. They probably don't want them now that they're listening to it. They're like, "Oh, what? Why is this thing back on?" So,
Yes,
we're
it's the
back.
podcast nobody wants to hear.
It's a podcast nobody wants to hear. Correct.
And the Pirates are a baseball team that nobody wants to watch. My goodness. I don't know where to
They're
begin.
boring and they're bad. I don't know what
There's
else to say. That's
there's
the show. We're done, folks. We'll
yeah,
see you next
there's
week.
hardly anything to
Peace out.
talk about. Like what's been going on? Let's see. They almost won more than one game against the Cubs. They're getting blown out by the Tigers. They were briefly above 500 in the Donnie Ball era, but now they're nicely back under, and they're probably going to fall further. I don't know what to say. There's nothing happening. There's no interesting roster moves. There's no
What
subplots to
happened to what
follow.
happened to urgency, but not too urgent, patient urgency or whatever bullshit dickhead Ben Charrington said. I almost called him Don Charrington for a second.
My
Ben
goodness.
Kelly. What happened to all that crap? What happened to all this? We're gonna be urgent and getting better and blah blah blah, and we're gonna like you said, nothing's happening. So there's been no roster moves. Like, is the guy asleep at the wheel? Is he in cryogenic freeze? Like, what's going on? What's he doing?
I can't even imagine like what does I'm at a loss for words. I got nothing. Like they got rained out today. We're recording the day they got rained out in Detroit. I don't even know if it did rain, but they
Which I
called it.
I don't think it rained. Yeah, I have no idea why they called the game. I was really excited and looking forward to Tarek Skubal destroying our lineup because it was a really pathetic lineup, and it never even rained. So I don't know what they're doing up there.
They did that to us last year too, where there was a rain out with no rain to force a double header that somehow became disadvantageous. Not that it matters. I don't know. I don't know what they got up in the water. Oh, you know what? I do know what they have in the water in Detroit. That's probably not something I should joke about, huh?
Yeah, well, we have that here in Pittsburgh too. So moving on.
Yeah.
I'm drinking it right now. Yeah, I
Utterly.
mean, there's not a lot of storylines to talk about. Bubba Chandler still isn't here. Ben Charrington still has a job. Donnie Ball is just boring and lame, just
A
like
lot of
Shelton Ball is
bunting.
boring
He
and
loves
uh,
bunting, Donnie.
his also his bullpen usage is bizarre. At least in some of these high leverage situations, he has some issues figuring out who needs to be where. But I don't
Sometimes
I
he
don't even know if that
forgets that certain relievers exist and forgets to use them for a week.
right, or he uses the wrong guy, like and but I don't even know if it matters because the goal of this team now should be to put Ben Charrington out of his misery, and like they're gonna trot out Tommy Pham probably tomorrow, at least one of those two of those
Oh,
games
he's
because Brian
absolutely going to
Reynolds
play.
is right because Brian Reynolds' baby was born, and so he's on paternity leave. So like Pham is still here. Canario isn't anything. He went back to being exactly what we thought he was. He is what we thought he was.
Turns out.
to quote the late great Denny Green.
Yeah.
He turned into a pumpkin. So that's boring. He had 2 weeks of doing stuff. We thought it was cool, and we thought he was gonna be, JD Martinez or Jose Bautista, like a late stage breakout. That's not gonna happen. Like, what else is there to talk about? Horowitz is doing like he sucks. He's pretty much dog shit. God love him. I mean, he's slow as hell too. I can't believe how slow that guy is.
We knew he was slow. He was supposed to be able to hit, and the excuses, of course, that he missed all of that time to the wrist injury, and wrist injuries are infamous for sapping your power. But I mean, he's not even hitting softly. He's mostly not hitting at all. He gets into a lot of 0-2 counts. I haven't loved or liked what I've seen from Horowitz thus far at the plate. He's a decent defender at first base, but great. He's a decent defender at first base. We need a bat there, and he was the guy. He was the big move. He was the big trade in the offseason, and boy, has that been a dud. He could someday, maybe next year, after he has like a full year of recuperation and he's all fresh and back to
you're
normal.
Wish casting.
I am.
You're wish casting.
You have to. Like, they invested in this guy to get him for years and years, and so they're gonna keep using him, I assume, unless a new GM waltzes in here and says, nope, cut him loose. I have my own first baseman. I brought him with me. Which isn't how it works. So yeah, he's been disappointing.
Yeah. I guess the only thing to really talk about is upcoming future predictions for the rest of this month, and who's gonna get traded. But I don't want to shoot our shot for our trade episode or All-Star break episode, because I'm sure we're gonna have to do some around that time. But that's
right.
that's the only thing to talk about. Like, what else is there to talk about? Hayes sucks. He's broken. He literally is a black hole of offense. Pham is a black hole of offense. You gave up major league starting pitching and some minor league assets for Spencer freaking Horowitz, who's dog shit. Nicky G's doing nothing. He's pretty much, again, he had a really hot month last year. We all bought into this. Oh my God, this is the guy. He's an impact player. He's a nice player, but nothing to write home about. IKF is going to get traded. Reynolds is declining, and all of the internet pregnancy jokes aside, which I find strange anyway, because the guy is just on the aging curve going down. There's no magic sauce to this. Oh, maybe he'll just turn back into an all-star. This is probably what he's going to be like for the rest of his career on this monster contract, sucking up all of our payroll. Cruz, at least, is a center fielder, but his offensive output is still just exactly where it was. I mean, mostly.
It's streaky. It's streaky like it was. Streaky. He's back to not being able to hit lefties. He had that stretch of time last year where it seemed like he had figured out left-handed pitching and was hitting it pretty well. But this year, he's back to his usual splits. So
he's not doing that metaphorical step forward that we all needed him to do, is become Bobby Witt Jr. That's not happening, folks.
Yeah, well, he's been Bobby Witt Jr. for maybe 5 or 6 games this year. He's shown those flashes of that's the guy you need him to be, but he's only that guy for a series here and there, and then he goes cold for 2 weeks. Where he's still a solid player, but he's not Bobby Witt Jr. He's not an MVP candidate.
Right. I mean, I'm not making fun, because these are great numbers. And the problem with this discussion point is that, we're going to do this with Connor Griffin too. and this is like a precursor to my thesis statement I want to make here, which is like one baseball player is not an entire team, and Pittsburghers are upset because we're so starved and we don't understand. So many things happening. We're beat down. We don't understand ball because the whole generation didn't watch it. We assume that if a guy is good, that the team is going to be good, but you need 9 guys because they, aren't on the field playing at the same exact time offensively anyway. So it's like, the point I'm trying to make is like, these are great numbers, and yet they're just still not enough because we need more, way, way more. Cruz's WRC plus as of now is 117. His WAR is 2 game, 2. So that's great. That's great. And yet it's still not enough, and it's still depressing to have to discuss that we hoped he could be a 9-win player there, 8-win player this year, and
Right.
we're on the maybe he still could, but like I don't see it. I don't see the consistency at bat, pitch to pitch, at bat to at bat that you need to have in this league in order to be, that guy that you can build a team around and, drag an entire dog shit roster into contention. Do you?
It's not there. Cruz you would need to have like 4 or 5 of him to have a team that could, with this pitching staff, and the pitching staff has been brilliant recently. With this pitching staff, if you have 4 or 5 O'Neill Cruzes, so that 1 or 2 of them, when they're having a bad couple of games, the other 3 can pick them up. That's what's not there. Reynolds has been mostly absent. The whole like June Reynolds thing didn't happen this year. He had
Reynolds' WRC plus is 81. I mean, God,
he's right back
Jesus,
down
dude.
where he was when we were saying a month ago that he can't be 20% below average. He's supposed to be 20% above average. So he's right back down to 20% below average. And there's not enough other guys around the roster to pick that up. I mean, the only way this team can be successful is if the top 3 or 4 bats drag along the rest of the roster, because at no point are they going to be able to pick each other up. So when Reynolds is down and Cruz is scuffling, and the only guy who's hitting anything is Andrew McCutchen, well, great. Andrew McCutchen gets his home run that puts him at number 3 all time on the Pirates home run list. And like, and it wasn't in that game, but like, he's often the only guy hitting in a game lately. And of course that's not enough.
Yeah. I mean, a great role player at this stage of his career, still very useful and valuable, but 112 WRC plus right now, which I love that. Great. I mean, we're talking about an old man baseball player. God love him. And 0.6 wins above replacement thus far into the season. Great. Also good. But that can't be it, right? This is supposed to be year 6 of a rebuild. So what else you got? We got more? Got some more? What else are we talking about?
Well, I mean, let's talk about Henry Davis. Henry Davis has had.
I don't want to talk about Henry Davis because it's depressing.
Well, you need to mention it because he had a couple of showings where he's not exclusively popping the ball up and exclusively getting out every single at bat. He's hit some homers. He is showing little spurts and signs of starting to maybe figure it out. There's a chance that he's not a total bust after all, but you're waiting for him to figure it out.
It's a WRC plus of 71.
Yeah, right.
His batting average is 194.
In total, it's not nearly enough. Give me Nick. What's Nick Gonzalez's number right now?
Hold on 1 second. Nick Gonzalez's WRC plus is. Take a guess. Just guess.
I'm gonna say 67.
Pretty close. 73.
73. That's the thing, is that these guys, like,
they all can't hit.
They have a couple memorable moments, and it makes you think, oh, so there's a hitter in there, but they don't do it often enough. So most of the time they're grounding out, or they're striking out, or they're popping out, or they're lining out, or they're flying out. They're not hitting safely. And maybe someday in 2026 or 2027 or 2028, one or both of those guys is going to be a solid two-war player like you need them to be to support the hopefully better looking top of the lineup. But the problem is there's just none of these roles that we need to have are there right now. And the likelihood that they're going to be there anytime soon is very small. Like, could Cruz
Cruz is
have
the
that
the
one
top.
magical season?
But right now, I'm looking at the Fangraph leaderboard. He's 39th in the league as far as just like the leaderboards go.
Mhm.
So, I guess they're calculating it off wins above replacement, just in a chronological, highest to lowest.
Right.
So he's 39th right now. If I sort it by WRC plus, I mean, we don't have there's not a Pirates on the front page of this. So the top 30, let me just control F just to make sure I don't miss anybody. I'm pretty sure I'm not. And we're not. So there's not a Pirate in the top 30 by WRC plus, and the highest performing Pirate that there, oh my God, we're not even on the second page either. Let's go to page 3.
Maybe sort in the other direction. You'll find them then.
Hey, oy vey. 68th in the league is O'Neill Cruz right now. He's the highest performing WRC plus on the team. Good Lord, that's depressing. I mean, at least we're in the top 100. Oh, Andrew McCutchen is 81. So we got O'Neill Cruz and Andrew McCutchen. I don't even count Andrew McCutchen these days because we know he's probably retiring, and then this either, it's got to
Right.
be this
He's not a part of the future. He's not going to be on the next winning Pirates team. He'll be retired by then. And so, I mean, you just described the whole season, the whole problem, and what's going to fix it. Like, you don't really have anything in AAA that is coming soon. You don't have anything in AA that's coming soon, other than Termar Johnson, who is, what did he just turn, 21, 22? He's still really young.
I don't even have his numbers. I haven't looked at them in a while because I haven't really been paying much attention to him.
They're okay. Like, he's not falling off. He's not showing that he can't handle the level, but he's moving slowly, and he's young, and he's not going to like storm up here. He's not going to be one of these early 20s phenoms that takes the league by storm. He just might be a decent player in like 2 or 3 years. And when he's a rookie, he might be just like the young guys we're seeing now, like the Nick Gonzalez's and the Henry Davises. It might take him some time at the major league level to really find his footing. And these are not the types of players that you can depend on to.
Okay, I just sorted by
carry your team.
the reverse WRC plus.
Yeah, that's where you're going to find all the Pirates, right? Down them and the Rockies.
my
It's just going to be Pirates and Rockies if you sort in reverse.
I feel like the meme with the guy from covering his face right now. That's me. Brian Hayes is 57. Here's the work. It's a Brenton Doyle, 44. And then he's the first.
He had a good year last year, Brenton Doyle. I'm kind of surprised that he's struggling the way he is, but I guess that's how it goes.
Guess who's right above Brian Hayes? Can you take a guess who it might be?
Jared Triolo?
No.
Are these qualified hitters? Or do we? Is this filtered by qualified hitters?
I would assume so. This is like this person has 250
it's like the default sort. Yeah. Is it a Pirate?
It's not a Pirate. But lots of people wanted him to be a Pirate.
Oh, is it Jock Peterson?
No, great guess. Try again.
Is it
another
Anthony
one?
Santander?
Nope. One more guess. It's
Michael
think
Conforto.
hard. Oh my God, you missed it. It's
Max
Luis
Kepler?
Robert Jr.
Oh, Lou Bob. Pantera.
It was Lou
Yeah.
Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We needed to trade
He's
for him. He would save the franchise.
he would save the franchise with his 63 WRC plus.
Yeah, he might not be that guy.
He might not. No, I don't think he is. So yeah, this list is bad, and Brian Hayes it's depressing that he's on it, and people constantly say in the newspaper and on message boards and generally speaking on the internet that we need to trade him. And I think to myself, well, that's really great, but nobody would want this player because this player can't play baseball, and defense does not score runs. So you have to hit the ball in order to be a productive major leaguer, and Brian Hayes cannot do that. And this 57 weighted runs created plus is he has a 0.7 wins above replacement though, which blows my mind.
It's all defense.
Yeah,
he
so
leads.
it's all defense.
He leads third base. He's got more than double the next best guy in baseball at third base with outs above average. I haven't looked at DRS, but I know that.
Well, let's look at
he's
that.
having one of those defensive seasons where he's head and shoulders above his peers at the position.
Okay, Brian Hayes is the 11th best DRS performer
Of any position.
Yeah.
Well, no. Solid.
But yeah,
I mean,
I don't care about that because that doesn't help our quest to score more runs. If we have this elite pitching staff, defense is great, but like I would trade a guy, like I would ask maybe our metaphorical third baseman to be like Matt Chapman's on this list. He's 25th in the league as a 6 DRS, like just hit. Like, I mean, obviously we can all have these access to these players, but like Alex Bregman, Ian Happ, I don't think Ian Happ plays the infield anymore, but he used to. But like, there's some players out there that like, Ryan McMahon. I'll take Ryan McMahon. Give me that guy. Give me anybody that can hit like a lick.
How about Rafael Devers? Rafael Devers, it's not a Pirates story, but he got traded from the Red Sox to the Giants, and it caused quite a stir recently when that trade came out. And he is I think he's a top 10, top 15 hitter in all of baseball.
Guess who was the general manager when he was signed as an international free agent? Because I looked it up the other day.
It couldn't be.
It was. It is. It's our nemesis, Ben Cherington.
Our very own Ben Cherington gets credit for signing Rafi Devers is he from the Dominican?
I believe so, yes. He was like 15 or 16 or 16, I guess is the cutoff. So
several GMs after, I guess they're not GMs in Boston, they give them a much more fancy title. But Chaim Bloom, the previous head of baseball in Boston, signed him to a 10-year, I forget the number, but it's like a 10-year, close to 300 million or over 300 million total value contract extension. And it was seen at the time as sort of like, well, we traded away Mookie and we didn't hold on to Xander. Who's left? And so they did sign Rafael Devers to this contract, and here we are less than 2 years later, and he's been dealt to San Francisco. Now, there's a backstory on this, is that he, after they signed Alex Bregman late in the spring, they sort of just sprang on him the idea of like, oh, by the way, Rafi, you're not playing third base anymore because you're not very good at it defensively, and he was upset to hear that. He had a
big sad.
Yeah, and he didn't like. There was a bit of a tete-a-tete in the press over it, and it wasn't pretty. And then eventually they got him to settle in at DH after much cajoling and after a little bit of a rough start. He really got going. He's hitting really well. And then Alex Bregman gets hurt and Tristan Casas gets hurt. And they come back hat in hand to Rafi and say, Rafi, I know we said that you were just a DH now, but can can you go back into the field? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm a DH now. So he really did play up the whole like prima donna. Like he definitely was not the good soldier Bryce Harper type to just like whatever you say, coach, put me wherever you need me. Um, so he had a bit of a friction, I guess, is a way to put it with the front office there. And
I mean, it seems that he hated their fucking guts. I don't know if
yeah,
friction is like, probably hiding it or, underplaying it, but
oh yeah,
like
being
my,
kind. He didn't like them, and it must have been ugly behind closed doors because for them to just turn around and trade him and like they're right around 500. They're not completely out of it, and they just got done sweeping the Yankees in Fenway, and then they turn around and trade him to the Giants, and the Giants took on all the money, sent back four guys. One of them was their first round draft pick from last year. Another one is one of their young pitchers.
I
And
mean, this was a street. There's no players. Like these players aren't real. No one cares about them. This is like Jeter Downs or whatever garbage players they got
yeah,
for
there's probably
Depot.
not much coming at like this is
Yeah, everyone's like
Boston
talking about the
saying,
players.
get
This
him
is
out
just
of our
getting rid of a
hair.
contract. Right.
Yeah.
Take this money off of our hands and get it the fuck out of here so we can reallocate these funds to these young players because Devers. Here's the thing about Rafael Devers. Like, is he a great hitter? Yes. It was he like, I'm not a Red Sox guy, so I can't speak, I'm a Red Sox guy insofar as it, like 2015 when Charrington got fired. That's the only time I know.
Right.
I just know the Charrington stuff. But it seems as though that when you get paid that contract and you're going to be the next guy up in the face of the franchise after you get rid of Betts and stuff, then you have to do face of the franchise stuff, whether you want to or not. You cannot have it both ways. Now, I'm not defending the Red Sox because Craig Breslow boggles my mind that he can be a player for like 12 years. He had a real career. He wasn't just like a guy with a couple. He wasn't Don Kelly. He was like an actual player who should understand these things and can be this fucking tone deaf and this idiotic when talking to a quote star player unquote. But it goes both ways. Devers obviously, was humiliated by the team probably, and it was probably about his pride and ego at some point in time. And at some point in time, it just became about his pride and ego, and he wasn't able to put it away. And so they were like, we don't give a shit if you hit 50 fucking home runs a year, you're out of here. And I don't blame them for doing that because when you're paying a guy that amount of money, you expect more. And you have all these young kids coming up and you want to set a good example for them. You want to show them the ropes. You want them to get settled in, get their careers going. This is supposed to be the next generation. So I'm not like, as far as like all these people on the internet screaming about like, oh my God, it's a Luka Doncic trade. It's like, it's not. It's just, it's a salary dump because the guy's a malcontent. That's nothing radical. And then, the other kind of thing I thought was funny about it is like he goes to San Francisco and they're like, Bob Melvin's like, he's going to play first base like immediately. And he's like, yep, I'm playing first base.
Wherever
So
you need
clearly,
me, coach.
wherever you want me at, I'll be there, buddy. Yeah, there's no love lost there. So yeah, it's a mess. But the Red Sox will be fine because they have the financial wherewithal to go get players, and build on their young core. And the other thing too about that team is that, since Billy Beane almost got that job, and we saw that in Moneyball, the movie, they've been playing Moneyball up there for years, and they treat their payroll like a small market team, like the Pirates do in a way. And so for better or worse, they'll probably reallocate those funds, go young and cheap for a while, build up the next core, and then go all in when that core is ready to compete like they did, transitioning from 07 to 13 to 18 and so on and so forth.
Yeah, they could turn around and go get some decent pitching. They've got those.
They got Garrett Crochet.
They've already got Crochet. They already extended him. They got Giolito coming off of the books. He hasn't been great for them, so like they'll have a bit of a war chest to turn around and go get some pitching. And they're not like they did lose their best hitter, but they have lots of other good hitters, assuming that these highly touted prospects of theirs do in fact pan out. So that you never know with
And
those
also you
prospects.
You don't, but like I that contract was a big one, and like Devers is probably on the like. There's also an element of like buyers. I think there's always buyer's remorse with these big contracts. I just believe that there is in my heart because we've all bought something we didn't really. We thought we wanted it. We like this is the thing, honey. We need a boat, and your wife's like, we don't need a boat. She's like, you're like, we need a boat because the kids will get on the boat with their friends and we'll like family time on the boat. What about maintenance costs? You know, there's a whole thing. And so you go through all the litany of this stuff, pros and cons, and you buy the boat. And the boat comes and you're like, it's a boat. And your wife's like, yep, it's a boat. That happens with these players in all major sports, and especially in baseball, I think. And so I wouldn't be surprised if there was like, do I think that the Red Sox tried to run him out of town? No. Do I think that they were just like douchebags about how they communicated with him? Yes. Do I think he was a giant baby? Also, yes. Do I think that they were like, all right, well, we could get out from this contract because somebody will want it? And they were like, John Henry was like, oh, I own the newspapers up here, so yeah, we'll just write a bunch of hit pieces about why we hate this guy and how he's a malcontent. Get him out of here. And off he went to
and they found the perfect partner in Buster Posey out in San Francisco because he is going full old school, like get these analysts
just
out
a
of my
gut
hair.
feeling.
Yeah,
we need bats.
He's out there like this is my chance to get one of these marquee players that this franchise, the Giants, has failed to sign again and again and again. They didn't get Correa. They didn't get Arson Judge. They keep trying to land these big stars and they weren't getting them. So this is a way for them to get one, and they've got him, and they've got him for the next 8 years, and probably like the first half of that, he's going to be really, really good for them. So like I see it as a win-win. I think the Red Sox probably got more maneuverability and a little bit more nimble in what they can do with their roster. They've got plenty of bats left over, so they can kind of bounce back from missing out on Rafi Devers leaving, and then San Francisco finally gets their big thumper in the middle of the lineup. And if Willy Adames ever gets over his jet lag and starts playing the way he's supposed to, they've got a solid roster going out there. So I think,
The
it's a
thing
win-win.
is, I don't care about any of these teams. I care about the Pirates, and the Pirates are stupid, and there's nothing to talk about with the Pirates.
No,
and I don't
we
wanna
have to talk about
the
other
Rob
teams
Field
because they do
stuff. I
stuff.
know.
The Pirates don't do anything, and we're going to get to the trade deadline, and then we're going to be talking about this lame duck Ben Cherington and which guys is he going to be allowed to trade and which ones is he not. And all he's going to trade are the rentals and the nobodies, and it's going to be a bunch of Billy Cooks coming back, if that. And we're basically, since Bob Nutting decided to let this guy hang around this year and be a lame duck, now we're going to have a trade deadline where we should be getting like big aggressive moves with like, let's trade Bednar now that he's back to being his best, or probably the best he's ever been.
Right, they're gonna listen. They're gonna get calls on Bednar and probably Santana, and they should listen to them. A hot,
They should
sexy,
do more than listen.
Yeah, but a hot, sexy Tampa Bay general manager would flip them assets right away and get them out of here. But we're gonna hold on to them because we need to have our closer in place for the 98 loss team that we are certain to be. So that'll be what ends up happening, and that's stupid, and I hate it. But we got to keep David Bednar. And
both of those guys should be gone at the deadline. They have one more year of arbitration each, and Bednar in particular is a bit of a luxury in terms of cost. I mean, he's back to,
can he hit the ball?
He's worth what he's being paid now for sure. Like he is looking as good or better than he ever has, but no, he doesn't hit the ball, and you're not winning anything this year, and in all likelihood you're not winning anything next year either, unless, like, I'm not even going to say it, like, you're not going to get back a franchise altering talent for
You might get
a
O'Neal
closer.
Cruz for Tony Watson if Neil Huntington was here. That's how
Yeah,
you got.
and then
That's how you
like
got
8 years
O'Neal
later,
Cruz.
when he matures, you might get a good season out of him where he's like potentially maybe an all-star bench guy, maybe. I mean,
Right. We're not getting anything for these players that are going to come up and suddenly augment the major league roster like it's 1982 and like you're just trading like major league players like they used to do back in the old days, just willy-nilly. No one
baseball
does that anymore.
trades, no,
Yeah,
hardly at
that doesn't
all.
really happen. Yeah. I mean, not like what we would need. You get the Rafael Devers kind of thing that happens every once in a while, and then, but like you don't get them like you used to. So I mean, whatever you get for Bednar and Santana is probably a 19-year-old kid, and I don't care about that. So, the thing is that I don't want this team to win, and I want them to lose. So, what accelerates losing and accelerates front office cleanout is trading these guys and just being more crappy on players on loser island. That's what I want right now.
So right now they're on pace to have, I don't know, maybe the worst season under Ben Sherrington. So even if they
They've
improve,
all been bad. What could be worse than this? They're all the same. It's the
they could,
same season.
well, they've had 276 wins seasons in a row. Like they're on pace for under 70 wins right now. And so how bad do they have to be for you to feel comfortable that he's out? Is there a
A
level
100
of
loss
failure?
season.
Needs to be 100
100
losses?
loss. I think so. Because I think Bob Nutting is the stupidest person in the world. He's a stupid hillbilly from West Virginia who doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Who lets these charlatans run all over him because he's misguided and he thinks he wants to win. He thinks that this is what winning looks like to him, and it's just a bunch of loser energy bullshit. And so we get no accountability down there, and we got everybody on a scholarship. And I can't stand it because that's not how, unless you're the Rays or the Andrew Friedman Dodgers or some organization with a culture and a process, then you get guys that can stay there for 20 years. Sure, I'm fine with that, but this is not that franchise, and they should be cleaning house all the time. But Bob is like running it like a mom and pop shop. And so, and he has to have clear and convincing evidence of loser energy. It has to hit him directly in the head. It has to bite him in the ass.
There can be
So he
no
can't.
ambiguity, and there can't even be any late season surge where they manage to eke out a 98 loss season just in the last week. Like they need to lose, and
They
they
need
need
to
to
bottom
lose
out
harder and harder.
harder. Correct. And it just needs to be so unequivocal that this is not working because, what Ben Charrington is going to do is take all these statisticians that are down there. I think in another episode I said that I imagine them as little maitre d's with little yes sir, we have a really great vintage of AAA ball player here for you. His name is Leover Perguero, like that kind of person. Bob pays good money for them, and Ben has them at his beck and call. I would just, if I was Ben, I'd bring him into Bob's office and I'd have them make the case. Well, we've been hurt, sir. Well, wrist injuries. Oh, we can't expect a first baseman to hit with a wrist injury. And Bob's like, yes, yeah, that does make a lot of sense. I do pay you a lot of money. And I feel like that's probably what's going to happen. And they're going to con their way into year 7. And we're going to just be stuck running it back, wish casting that maybe Jack Sawinski can break out. I don't know. Maybe Alexander Canario will break out. Like we're having the same tedious and tired arguments that are maddening, that go nowhere in the fandom. So it's like, just lose and be done with this and just start again. Just start again and see where it goes. That's what we have to hope for. That's the only thing to talk about.
Bob has basically said in the press that he does not want to tear down again. That regardless of who the GM is,
that's so dumb. Here, reality will be material conditions aren't going to change, Bob, because you hope and pray that we have Paul Skeens. I can't tear it down with Paul Skeens. That's not how the world works. The team is bad and they're losing at a prodigious rate. Hell, the Colorado Rockies have more win streaks than we do. Like they have more like winning, put together in small clumps than the Pirates do, and we have a bigger win total. It's like, reality is going to just be reality regardless. And there is no way to talk your way out of it. And if they don't face it, then they're just going to prolong it. And boy, that sounds like the McClatchy years.
Yep, sure
Rant
does.
over. Can we pivot to another topic really quick?
Yeah, go shoot.
I know this is a very unserious Yinzer take because it puts me out of the Yinzer mainstream, but I am just I'm so over Greg Brown this year. I think this is the first year. I mean, I've disliked Greg Brown for a long time for many reasons. He's wooden. He's not very engaging. He laughs like a psychopath. He shushes people at the Pirates Fest when they want to sell the team. He strikes me as a narc, like a kid in high school who would just tell on you. But like this year particularly, there's something about the broadcasts that are just sloppy and uninspired and pissing me off. And I don't know if is it just me or is it something that other people can sense.
I mean, for me, I'm just tired of hearing the state media Donnie Ball drumbeat. Like enough. Stop trying to make everything be Donnie Ball. I can't stand it.
I can't stand that either. I like yesterday, and we didn't get an update with what's going on with Brian Reynolds. Bob Walk is, talking about, whatever the hell he talks about these days, which I can tolerate Bob Walk because I think he's at least entertaining. But, it's just, I don't know. He just seems to be like checked out in a way that he never seemed to be checked out before. And now that I have, I've had MLB TV for like, 10 years or so now, and you can listen to other radio and television broadcasts. And now that you have access to the real world, it's like getting out of North Korea and realize that the entire world is there's information out there that we can access. And it's like, I can listen to other teams and go, oh, these guys are good. Like my buddy texted me and he was like, I'm watching SNY, because he's a baseball fan. He's like, this is a really great broadcast. And I was like, yeah, they're really good. The Phillies have a great broadcast. There's lots of good broadcasts out there. And ours is just so, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I don't like the state media aspect of it. It's really off-putting. I wish they did a better
good to get
job.
off my chest, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. That felt good.
Yeah, I don't have much more to add than that. Just like I'm sick of hearing about Donnie Ball. I wish they had better stuff to talk about. I wish they didn't have to pretend that like the tiny little like
it's fan breaking out,
brief moments
his
of
his grittiness
are
is
real something. Like like there's so much contrivance going on that it does wear pretty thin. I agree with that.
It does. Yeah, and I'm over it. I'm done. I don't, just because you've been here for 30 years does not give you a pass, and so that's my feelings on Greg Brown right now and the Pirates broadcast. I can't do it. The mute button is now my new friend. Just the mute button, the silence of the void. That's how I want to enjoy Pirates baseball, in the void.
I have a hard time watching it all. I'll kind of like side eye the live play by play. What is the graphic on MLB app that just shows the pitches and it's like,
game day.
Yeah, game day. And I have a hard time watching the games. It's so demoralizing. And like I know that like from like a philosophical level you're rooting for them to lose. I still want them. I like to watch them win and succeed, but they just never do. Like it's so rare to get just like a nice, oh look, they're doing well today. Like every once in a while they'll put one together and it's just this breath of fresh air. And then you're right back into The joke is, oh, they're using up all their runs today. And this happened recently. They had one of those games where they scored a bunch of runs and then the very next day they got like shut out or something. It's like, come on. Like,
yeah, it's tough to watch because they can't hit. And yours truly said that in episode like 3. I said, there's no secret mojo, there's no magic bullet or magic sauce, whatever I said. They can't hit. They can't hit. They couldn't hit last year. And that's why they tailed off. And they really couldn't sustain hitting in 2023. They couldn't hit. They can't hit. They don't have hitters. They aren't going to just show up. And we're just struggling with this notion that like, well, what if Donnie Ball? What if Paul Skeens Ball? What if Bubba Chandler? Like that's it. Those are all things that exist and are part of the factoring of how a winning team would operate. If you had hitting, you need to hit the ball, period. That's it. That's the currency of baseball is runs. Hits generate runs. That's it. That's what the game is. So until they figure out a way to do that, and Ben Cherington's entire MO is just like, I don't know, boss. Maybe we just hope and pray we find a hitter under a rock somewhere. That's not a roster building strategy. Then this is what we're stuck with. Just this. This is it. This is it. We're just swapping out deck chairs on the Titanic.
I know we're talking about the Pirates, and I know we're talking about nutting. I do not understand how Ben Cherington could possibly keep his job. Like there's nothing there's nothing he could possibly, there's no performance that could redeem what has gotten us to this point. We are 5.5 years in, and they are where they are. His work to this point has produced what it has produced. I don't understand how he can't lose his job after all of that. And that there shouldn't be any like illusion. I don't get it. Like, but then I'm thinking rationally about it, and everybody reminds me, yeah, but nutting. Yeah, but Pirates. And I really struggle with that because it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. The entire organization doesn't make any sense. I don't know what to tell you, man. They're stupid. It's a clown show. They're run by clowns. It's a clown show. We're clowns for paying money to see this shit. I mean, I don't, God love us and God love the fans, and I'll watch it. I'll be watching tomorrow, but this is a clown show. So if there's a worst possible outcome for this franchise and this front office, I expect it to happen. And my worst possible outcome is that Bob says, Paul Skeens, and Ben goes, Paul Skeens, and they just nod silently in agreement. And we're back at year 7 with wish casting Henry Davis and Jack Sawinski because we don't, and signing a washed free agent to play left field. Like pick somebody next year that's washed and just rehash the same script, and we'll just do it again. We're gonna do it again, and this is what it is.
Run it right back again. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
anything else to talk about?
That's probably it for this one. I think we can put a cap on that. This has
depressing
been
as always.
Depressing. And this has been the OG and Crab Show. We've got our podcast feed links available down in the description for those of you watching on YouTube, and that will work on anywhere that you get your podcasts. We're listed on Spotify. We're listed on Apple. Like and subscribe, right, Crab?
Or don't. I don't care. Nothing matters.
Nothing matters. Eat Arby's.
Just watching crappy baseball every day, folks. So
hope something happens that we can talk about someday in the future, because boy, this was like pulling teeth.
It was tough.
All right.
Well, we'll do it again.
We'll see what happens.
Have a great night.
Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.